idea yesterday. It might not work, but I'm going to try it anyways.
And what might that be? What is it that you're going to do, Grandma?
Well, let's see here. I'm really thinking that I'm going to send them a letter. And I'm going to tell them that
Good evening, everybody.
good evening, Mr. Colin.
Forgive me, the dog was open.
No, come right in.
It's all right, Mr. Colin Cobb.
What do you guys, excuse my coming today? I realize you're upset.
It's all right.
I don't think I can take a lesson today, Mr. Pellencock. I don't really feel like doing it.
Well,
You can stay for dinner, Mr. Colin Cobb. Please have all that food, and somebody's got to
I'm
eat it.
really happy to, Madam Sycamore.
Fine.
Now, I was wondering if I could ask you all of a great favor.
Oh, of course, Mr. Colin Cobb. What is it?
You have heard me talk about my friend, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
Oh, yes.
She is a great woman, the Grand Duchess. Her cousin was the Tsar of Russia, and today she is a waitress at Chal's restaurant in Times Square.
Yes, I heard. If there's anything at all we can do, Mr. Colin
I
Cobb.
tell you, she has not had a decent meal since the revolution.
She must be hungry.
Yes, and she not only has her day off today, Thursday, but it is also the great anniversary of Pierre the Great.
Oh, Mr. Colin Cobb, if you're saying that the Grand Duchess comes to eat dinner with us, why we'd be honored.
In the name of the Grand Duchess, I thank you.
Oh, where is she now?
She is on the street. I will go get her.
Oh, my goodness. Ed, straighten your tie. I see your dress. Oh, do I look all right?
If this keeps on, I'm going to have to live to be 150. No, just 100.
The Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. May I present to you Madam Sycamore, Madam Carmichael,
Oh,
Mr. Carmichael, Mrs. Vanderhoff,
Madame.
Mr. Sycamore, and Mr. Penna.
Now, Mr. Penna.
Oh, do be seated, Your Highness. Thank you. You're most kind. We are happy to receive you, Your Highness.
And I'm most happy to be here. How soon is dinner?
Oh, dinner won't take any time at all, Your Highness.
And I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you're on time, Your Highness.
Thank you, Colin.
So, Highness, I think you might have waited on me and Charles once the 15 seconds.
No, that was my sister.
The Grand Duchess Natasha.
Yes, I brought her from Times Square.
Quite a lot of your folks living over here now, aren't there?
Oh, yes, many. That is my uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei, and he's an elevator man at Macy's, a very nice man. And then there is my cousin, the Prince Alexis, and he won't speak to the rest of us because he works at Hattie Carnegie in ladies' underwear.
When we were on Coney Island setting hot dogs, he was ready to talk to you.
Ah, Colin Cove, our time is coming. You see, my sister Natasha, she is studying to be a manicurist. And Sergey, they have promised to make Flow Walker, and next month I will be transferred to the Fifth Avenue Childs. From there, it is only one more step to Shiraffs, and then we will see what Prince Alexis says.
I think you've got it.
You're telling me?
Do you know Sir, Your Highness? Personally, I mean.
Of course. He was my cousin. It was terrible what happened to him, but perhaps it was for the best. Where could he get a job now?
Pravda. That is true.
And poor relations are poor relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, he's only nice to us for about 10 years. And every once in a while, he was going to send a money order. Yes, I must not be late. The manager does not like me. He's a communist.
Oh, dear. Essie, why don't you go into the kitchen and help Reba?
Oh, I have to cook.
Oh, Your Highness, not on your day off.
I do not mind. I will help too. Where's your kitchen?
Right through here, but you're the guest of honor, Your Highness.
I don't mind at all. Come, Common. Maybe take out the side of cream and pot cheese. I will make you some minces.
Ah, blitzes. Come, Pavlova. We will make something great.
Hey, she ain't too bad, ain't she? That Highness, she's not too bad. I'm gonna put this here. Hey, Highness, can I help?
Gee, she has a wonderful face for a mask.
She's very nice for a Grand Duchess.
Wonderful what some people go through, and they still keep kind of happy too.
Yes, she's very kind. I almost forgot about everything for a minute.
Well, I suppose I better call that cab.
No, wait, Paul. Here comes Tony. Maybe he's strange.
Ed, will you go over and bring the big bag down?
Don't do it, Ed!
Ed, please?
Fine, Ed, bring it. Do you realize you have the most stubborn daughter in all 48 states?
That must be the cab.
If it is, it's certainly wonderful service.
Is Tony here, Alice?
Yes. Hello, Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
Good evening.
Evening.
Tony, I want you to come home straight away. Your mother and I are both very worried.
Very well, Father. Goodbye, Alice.
Bye, Tony.
I need hardly say that this is as difficult for Mrs. Kirby and myself as it is for you people. But I'm sure you understand.
Well, yes. And in a way, no. Now, I'm not the kind of person who tries to run other people's lives. But, Mr. Kirby, I don't think these two young people have got as much sense as you and I have.
Grandma, will you please not do this?
I'm just talking to Mr. Kirby, Alice. A cat can live in a kingdom, can't he?
Do you want me to do that for you, Alice?
No thanks, Mother. You said the cab is 761 Claremont right away, please? That's right. Thank you.
Alice!
Father.
Are you ready, Tony?
Yes, Father.
Mr. Kirby, I suppose after last night you think this family's pretty crazy.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm just not accustomed to going to dinner and waking up in a jail cell.
Well, you need to remember, Mr. Kirby, you came on the wrong night. Now that tonight nothing will happen at all. Maybe.
Mrs. Vanderhoff, I don't quite understand what you mean.
Well,
What she means is pretty clear, Mr. Kirby. You obviously mean this marriage won't work.
Yes, that's what I mean. And it's exactly why I'm opposed to this marriage, and I don't want Tony to come under its influence.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Alice, for the last time, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know exactly what your father means, and he's right.
No, he's not!
Alice, you're in love with this boy, and you're not marrying him because we're the kind of people we are.
Grandma, I didn't say that.
I know, you think the two families wouldn't get along. Well, who says they wouldn't? But who says they're right, we're wrong?
Well, that's not what I said.
Well, what I feel is that Tony is too nice a boy to wake up 20 years from now with nothing in his life but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
That's right, mixed up and unhappy, the way you are.
Excuse me, Mrs. Vanderhoff. I am a very happy man.
Are you?
Certainly I am.
I don't think so. Where do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No, sir, you get it because you spend most of your time doing things you don't want to do.
I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Yes, you do. You said last night that at the end of a week in Wall Street, you're pretty near crazy. Why do you keep on doing it?
Why, that's my business. A man can't give up his business.
And why not? You've got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
That is a very dangerous philosophy, Miss Vanderhoff. And it's exactly why I'm opposed to this marriage.
As you said.
As I have said a couple times.
Well, if you look at it my way, just like I have a lot of fun. I read, talk, visit the zoo now and then, practice my darts. I even have time to notice when spring rolls around.
A fine world we'd live in if we did everything like you. Everyone going to zoos. Who would do the work?
There's always people to do the work, Mr. Kirby. People to go to Wall Street, but because they like it. I don't think you're one of those people. I think you're missing something.
I'm not aware of missing anything.
I wasn't either till I quit. 35 years ago, I used to wake up every morning and go to that office, 9 o'clock sharp, no matter how I felt. Lay awake nights for fear I wouldn't get that contract. Used to worry about the world, too. Yeah, used to wonder about whether Cleveland or Blaine was going to be elected president. But who cares now? What I'm trying to say, Mr. Kirby, is I've had 35 years that nobody can take away from me. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? It's un-American.
Are you sure you always thought that, Mr. Kirby?
I've always thought that. Of course I have. What are you talking about?
Well, what's wrong with it, Father?
What's wrong with it? Why, it's downright communism, that's what it is.
You didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. What are you talking about?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You didn't always think so because at one time or another, you wanted to be a trapeze artist, remember?
Don't be ridiculous, Tony.
Oh, yes. Father, I read those letters you wrote to grandfather. Do you remember those?
How dare you read those letters? How dare you!
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Did you wear tights, Mr. Kirby?
I most certainly did not. It was ridiculous. I was 14 years old at the time.
Yes, but at 18, you wanted to be a saxophone player, didn't you?
Tony!
Well, well, well.
And at 21, you ran away from home because you were afraid of going into the business. It's all down there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. We'll talk about this later, Tony.
No, I want to talk about it now. I think Mrs. Vanderhoff is right. Dead right. I'm never going back to that office. I've always hated it, and I'm not going on with it. And I'll tell you something else. I did make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night. I brought you here on purpose.
Tony! Well, honey.
Because I wanted to wake you up. I wanted to see a real family as they really were. A family that loves and understands each other. You never loved me. You never had time. Well, I'm not going on with your mistake. I'm clearing out while I still have time.
Clearing out? What do you mean, clearing out?
It means I'm getting out of business, and I don't have to be in it just because I'm your son. I'm getting out while there's still time.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer, but at least I'll be doing something I want to do!
Oh, that must be the cab.
Ask me to wait a minute, Ed. Grandma, do you mind that? Listen, Mr. Kirby. Tony is going through just what you and I did when we were his age. I mean, and we all did, we were right.
I understand what you mean, Miss Vanderhoff. I did say the same things to my father 25 years ago.